Hey everybody! What's up, Bug Out family? How's everyone doing? Say some hellos in the chat, show some love. We got all the team on board over here. Look at all of you guys. We're in week 3, baby. Halfway through the program. It's crazy how fast this process goes. All right, you guys, I am super excited about today. This has probably been one of my favorite calls from the program just because it really tailors to the human in all of us when it comes to one of the most important topics of your cleanse experience, which is food. So we're going to get into food today. Most important thing, I saw some people in the chat like, I don't know what to eat. Don't you worry, by the end of this call, you will have so many more ideas and so much more inspiration on what to be fueling your vessel with throughout this process. But as always, let me put you guys, there you are. All right, but as always, I want to see where everyone is at. Please drop in the chat a quick energy check-in, you guys. What's the energy levels? What's the mood? What's the sleep quality? How is everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Let's see, we got him set a 7, okay. Mood 5, sleep okay 6, all right. Let's see, is that you, Cindy? Is that iPad? Is that Cindy? I feel like last time it was. Is that you, Cindy? Yes. Okay. I'm going to change that for you so we know who it is. Let's see. Sleep. Okay. 8. How's everybody been doing with hydration? Hydration's always, for me, anytime I'm feeling sleepy or my mood is down, sometimes it's really just because I'm not getting enough fluids in. All right, hold on. Let me go and change your name for you, Cindy. That way we know who we're talking to. All right, there we go. Okay, you guys, week 3, all about deepening the cleanse. If you started the tinctures along with the group, I know some people in the chat said that they hadn't started the tinctures yet, which is absolutely fine. You can still be along for the ride with us throughout this entire process. Just make sure that you take advantage of the replays if you are behind on the schedule. But for those of you guys who are right on schedule, that was your first full week of tinctures, and we're going into our second full week of tinctures. So now the herbs are in there, they're doing their thing, and a lot of people have been expressing different symptoms, different die-off symptoms. So we'll have Kim dive into some of the different things that you guys can do to support your die-off throughout this process. I know she has talked about some of that before, some of the different modalities that she uses. So we'll have her share a couple of those things too. But this call, we want to hear from you guys. One of the most important parts of this entire program is the community. Obviously, if you've been engaged in the chat, you see that the Signal chat is popping off. The community is thriving, which we absolutely love. We're so grateful that you guys have been really active in there and that you guys have been really utilizing one another throughout the process. We've seen some amazing conversations going on in there. Gustavo has been dropping crazy knowledge in there. I don't know if you saw his astrology report. Gustavo, that was absolutely epic. Let's see, couldn't figure out a signal. So it's an app on your phone. The link to the chat is in your email. So every single week when the weekly email goes out, there should be a link in there where you can click on it and it'll take you to Signal chat. Also, you can access Signal from your computer. It's just so much easier to do it from your cell phone. If you can get the app, that way you'll get the notifications on your phone and you're just being able to access it from there. Let's see that. Tammy, do you have access to the app on your phone? Let's see, hold on. Let me unmute you really quick. Carly just dropped the chat, the Signal chat. What was that, Tammy?
I don't have it on my phone right now.
Oh, okay. So I would recommend downloading it, and then, when you're done with the program, if you don't need Signal anymore, you can totally just delete the app. It's a free app. So that would be the best way to get it. Download the app on your phone, and then go into our Rogers Hood emails and just click the link on there, and it'll send you straight to the chat. That way you'll be in there with the entire community.
Okay, I'll reinstall it and see if I can find that link.
Okay. Okay. All right, you guys. So, like I said, today's all about you. We want to hear what everybody has been eating. We want to share recipes. We want to share food ideas throughout this process. It's going to be really, really important to listen to your body. One of the things that people get really hung up on is the do's and don'ts of the protocol. And Kim has shared this before, is that when it comes to diet, she chose the strictest diet. She chose the Candida diet. And for me, when I did the cleanse the first 3 rounds, I heavily, heavily stuck to the diet and I saw incredible results. However, you have to be realistic about your lifestyle. You have to be realistic of what's required of you. Since doing those, my first few rounds of cleanses, I have started strength training and weightlifting 4 days a week. So it wasn't realistic for me to not have meat because it was really, really hard for me to get my protein in when I was strictly staying on the Candida diet the way that I was in the first, few rounds of me doing this. So, yes, we want you to do your best to eat as clean as possible, but do not neglect your body and what it's telling you that you need. Okay, so we're gonna have Kim actually share first because a lot of people are wondering, well, what does the worm queen eat when she's cleansing? Like, what's Kim's experience with food and diet throughout this process? And you guys might be a little bit surprised to hear what Kimmy has to say. Oh, there she is. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
We would love to hear from you as far as what is your experience with nutrition and figuring out what to eat and sticking to the diet that you put a part of your protocol.
Well, food's a struggle. Like it's a struggle, right? Like once you realize what's in our food and how we have to eat, like it's just such a struggle. So I also struggle with food. I used to be a vegetarian, so when I found the Candida diet, it really wasn't like a stretch for me to not eat the meat, but I also was kind of craving it just because you should have some protein like that in your diet. And so I've learned that over the last few years how important it is to have that. But we're really trying to not strengthen them. So a lot of times you have to starve things out. And that's why the Candida diet, I think, is so difficult too, because like you're constantly always feeling hungry on it. But when I first started cleansing, I ate like crap, man. I was trying to clean up my diet and then I had burgers and ice cream and I was sitting around like with my husband and I looked at him and I go, this isn't even how we eat. What's the deal? And it's because they're wanting to gain strength. So they're wanting you to eat that way because they really can control you like that. And so that's why we picked the Candida diet. That's why we picked the strictest diet is because then if you do have a few days where you're eating really good and you have a few days where you're not eating so good, you at least are balancing it out. And then as you are cleansing, you're eating better because your taste buds have changed. They're in our mouth. So they're not, triggering us to eat crappy. And then you also know when it is time to cleanse because you'll start to have those cravings again, like you did prior to cleansing. So it's just really doing the best that you can and eating the best you can, organic, grass fed, grass finished, and just overall supplementing your body with as much as you can. Again, I picked the strictest cookbook, which we're actually, and I'll say this now so I don't forget, but we're actually wanting you guys to send us any meat recipes that you may have that you're eating on this cleanse because at Christmas I am going to launch a new guide for people to eat using meat, clean, organic, instead of just having this very strict, clean, no meat concept of a diet, I've done a lot of research. I've been to a lot of doctors, and I've always asked them this same question, like, what should I eat? What should I be telling my community to eat? Because so many people are downloading this book, and it's like, I know it's a struggle. I know that's a big reason why people don't always do the cleanse is because of the food diet. But if you think about it, you're eating a couple times better a week. Do your best. It's a guide, and it's here just to show you how you can slowly transform your life. And they also looked at me and said, you really need to have some sort of meat in your body. Like, you really need to have that specific type of protein in your body to support your body while you're in a killing phase. And I started to look even more about how toxins going in a killing phase needs that extra oomph in order for you to have the support, in order for you to process the herbs. So if you want to stick with the strictest diet, that's cool too, but like, you can eat some meat on it. And so I love to have your guys' recipes emailed to us. You can send them to team@rogershood.com and include your name, any information you want, because what we'll do is we'll type it up and we'll basically give you exactly, we'll put in exactly what you say. So if you want to put your IG handle, it'll go. If you look at the way we designed our last cookbook, it will look just like that. And so at Christmas, I want to launch it, and I would love for anybody in this group to be a part of that. And just take the guide with the food with a grain of salt. Like, honestly, just getting the herbs in is the best. Did I miss anything?
I would just say, Kim, as far as the meat goes, how often would you recommend it? Would it not be an everyday thing, or would it be, here and there?
Well, I eat it every day, and my cleanses have been a lot smoother. But I
Okay.
also eat a lot of mushrooms. So before, when I was on the diet, I would eat a lot of mushrooms, but I also did a lot of juicing because I didn't know what to eat. Like, I have struggled with food my whole life. I mean, my mom was in Weight Watchers, so we had like a food struggle. Like, she ran Weight Watchers for a while, so I've already been involved in like this weird food thing, and then I grew up with weird food things, and so food is such a thing with us. You know what I mean? So it's like, do your best. And if you have treats here and there on the cleanse, just be okay with it. Mentally, it's more detrimental to you by not just accepting the guy as a guide and to beat yourself up than it is just to eat it. Honestly, there's statistics. So if you're beating yourself up, you might as well just go do it. And then at least you calmed your nervous system a little bit.
Yeah, another thing that's really important to touch on, I'm glad you said that, Kim, as far as like what's actually worse for you is the stress that you put on yourself to be eating a certain way super, super consistently, which obviously we always want to do the best that we can. But the worst thing that you could possibly do yourself is create shame and guilt in your body while you're actually doing something that's really incredible for you. There's a science behind the emotional state that you eat your food in. So if you are eating something that is unhealthy for you, and then you're eating it in the energy of shame and guilt, it actually makes that food even more unhealthy for you because your body is trying to digest what you're eating in a stressed out state. So I always tell people, believe in your physiology. Our bodies are not as fragile as we think they are. They're capable of so much, and they protect us and support us every single day. So one of the things that I always do to release any type of shame or guilt, if there ever is a time when I'm going to be eating something that isn't fully in alignment with my cleanse protocol, I always just tell my body, I trust you. I believe that you're going to be able to get what serves you from this and completely detox and get rid of what doesn't. I believe in your ability to transmutate. I believe in your ability to nourish me. Thank you. I love you. I trust you. And then I eat my thing, and I feel so much better about it because I changed my state of being around whatever that thing was. Because let's be honest, we're living these lives, and sometimes you're in a bind. I remember when I did my first cleanse, I was traveling, I was at the airport, there really wasn't a lot of foods there for me to eat, but I needed something. You might be in a situation where you're going to have to eat something just to sustain yourself. that isn't fully in alignment with the cleanse. And we just want to make sure that you're not beating yourself up constantly if you are having these slip ups here and there, because like Kim always says, getting the herbs in your body is the most important thing. So, with that being said, we are gonna go around for those of us who are on camera. For those of you guys who aren't on camera, if there is something that you want to say or share, feel free to either turn your cameras on or drop it in the chat, because it's time to pull from the wealth in the room. And we would love to hear from you guys as far as what has been working for you, what you've been eating, what you've been implementing. I will go first because one of my favorite, and I shared this in the last one too, but ever since I started making this, I cannot stop making it. And maybe it's because I'm Mexican, I don't know, but I've been making I've been making tostadas, cleanse approved tostadas, and they're delicious. I cannot get enough of them. It's literally my favorite, most easiest recipe to put together. Who likes the siete almond flour tortillas? Me too. Okay. So I get the siete almond flour tortillas. I bake them in the oven to get them crispy, like a tostada shell. Then I just get my black beans and I mash them. I just mash my black beans, put all the seasonings in them. And then on top, I'll chop up cilantro and onion and purple cabbage, and I'll toss that in like a lime juice. And I'll add that to the top of the beans. And then on top of that, I'll add some avocado. And then for my idea of like a sour cream type of situation, I'll add the like an unsweetened, unflavored coconut yogurt, coconut milk yogurt on the top, and that kind of serves as like a sour cream type of thing. And then I'll add a salsa, I love the company. I think it's called Late July. I love their salsa. I use the green chili salsa. Also, Siete has some really great salsas too. So then I'll add the salsa on there. So it's the tortilla, the beans, the onion, cilantro, cabbage blend, and then avocado and the coconut yogurt, and then the salsa. It's so flavorful. You're getting so many different nutrients in it. So that's another thing too, right? Making sure that we're eating nutrient dense foods. If we're able to keep things simple, but making sure that there's a variety of nutrients in that thing. There's so many different nutrients in just that one meal. There's protein in it as well because of the tortillas and the beans. So that's one of my go-tos. It's actually really quick. Normally I just prep do you use salsa with tomato? No, I use green chili salsa. That's the one that I usually use. So, and that's just the one that I prefer in flavor as well, is the green chili ones. Those ones are my favorite. But typically I'll bake a bunch of the tostada shells. I'll keep them in a Tupperware or something, and then I'll just have the beans in the fridge. I'll keep we call it like a Mexican slaw, which is like the cilantro, onion, and the cabbage. I'll keep that in a little container, and then I'll just throw them together. And with all of those different ingredients, with the tortillas, the slaw, the salsa, then the next day, for those of you who are incorporating a little bit of eggs into your diet, I make breakfast tacos as well. So then I'll get the siete tortillas, I'll put the eggs in there, and then I'll add my Mexican slaw, my salsa. Like, I'm Mexican, so I'm over here, I'm making all the cleanse approved Mexican foods. So those are some of my go-tos. Super flavorful, very fulfilling. There's nothing boring about the tostadas, and you can add your own flavor to it. You can do whatever you want. I use black beans as well. I know somebody asked me that in the past. I prefer black beans for those. So that's one of my cleanse food go-tos, and it's really quick, really easy. Doesn't take a lot of time and effort. So if you guys try them, let me know. They're absolutely delicious. All right. Now I want to hear from some of you guys. as far as what you've been eating. Again, you might be eating something that nobody else has been eating, and vice versa. So if you guys have anything, make sure that you drop your gems with us because we all wanna try your recipes too. Let's see, who do we've got? Kim, can we hear from Kim Greer? Hi, Kim.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So I found like I've honestly we went skiing, snowboarding in Tahoe all last week. And then we're on a week-long camping trip at the beach. So it's been very hard because everyone's barbecuing, they're doing the things. So
Yeah.
for me to like, I've really stuck to it because I found in the past, like I do better when I don't have dairy and the meat, not so much. But anyhow, I've just found some like, I guess, solace in having all my stuff prepped. Like I even brought my therasage thing to do my bubbling of the vegetables, but I just made a bunch of them. So I did radishes, I did cucumbers, I did apples, I did I don't know, just a bunch of vegetables and fruit. And like I said, when it's accessible and I know that it's already clean, I don't feel that guilt of like, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. But I've just been sauces is my big thing. I feel like if I could put a sauce on anything that it's like, okay, that tastes exciting, but I know that makes it limited. But the tamari I had put in the chat, I made like a dressing. I don't have exact measurements, but I did like tamari, coconut aminos, honey, Baja salt and lime and olive oil. And I just mix that, with sesame seeds. And I just mix that. And I've just kind of been using that as my dressing. And I'll just grab from whatever vegetables. And I mean, I did all of my vegetables. And I'll just grab from that and do stuff like that. And in the morning, I've been doing like fruit with like the hemp seeds with a little drizzle of the honey and stuff like that. But for me, I really do feel like that's what's keeping me on track is just taking that extra time to just have a bunch of stuff ready. So, because I hate that when you prep and you're like, well, I don't want to eat that. But then at least I have a lot of different things to pull from. So,
Right.
and I did find an almond cheese that's super clean. And so I crumbled that like on sweet potato fries and like made like loaded sweet potato fries. And it was like life changing. I felt like I was eating something that was so bad for me, but it was so yummy.
What brand was it?
I can grab it. It's new. Hold on one second. It's let's see. So it's called, I don't know if you can see it, it's vegan almond cheese and it doesn't have a name on it. It just is literally like
Original?
it's just the original and it literally just has almonds, water, organic lemons, organic olive oil, sea salt, and organic garlic.
Ooh,
And
where'd you get it?
What's that?
Where did you get it from? What
I
store?
don't have a local store that we have that's called Organic Roots, but
Oh.
it doesn't even, let's see, on the back it says Rochelle's Supernatural Foods out of Los Angeles. So I'll put it in the chat when we're done, but I literally just took this and like crumbled it, like I said, on top of like sweet potato fries that were like avocado oil. They didn't have anything bad on them. And this, and just like you did with your toppings, like I did cabbage and like all the different things. And it was like, it literally felt like I was, eating something that would be bad for me, but it was all stuff that's approved, I suppose.
Yeah, that's
So,
the best thing when you find those things that feel really fulfilling to your taste buds because sometimes
yeah,
your taste buds can be really unenthusiastic throughout this process.
yes, I agree.
Question, Kim, for all the veggies that you said that you prepped, are you eating all of them raw or are you cooking some of them as well?
Well, when I make some of them, like I did like fajita veggies, like, like bell peppers and, onions. Sorry, forgive me. My brain is, as soon as I get a thought, it's going. So bear with me. But, I did cook like green beans. Just there's a few things like I did shishito peppers, like blistered shishito peppers. I don't know if you've ever had those at like a restaurant where it's like,
Yeah, I love those.
so I did like blistered ones with tamari. So there's a couple things that I did have prepped, But for the most part, like a lot of my salad stuff I've been doing raw, but like if I have like leftover asparagus that I cooked, like sometimes I'll just cook up. It's already been cooked. I'll just cut up cold like leftovers and throw those in my salad as well. So almost everything I'm eating pretty much raw when it's a salad.
Nice.
So
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kim.
you're welcome.
Thank you for that. I always love a good alternative cheese plug. They're hard to come by, man. Sometimes
Totally.
cheeses get really weird out there.
Uh,
Yeah, definitely drop that one in the signal chat for us because I want to see if they have it at my store.
well,
All right, let's see. Let's hear from Gianna. Can we hear from Gianna?
Mute.
There you are. We can hear you. Oh, wait, I think you just muted yourself again. There you
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I actually, and I have like a couple questions, but something, because I've been struggling. I'm Italian, and the pastas, the tomatoes,
Yeah.
the like cheese and bread, that's like that's where I'm like really struggling. But I do actually, I found that my sweet tooth has gone down. Like I have always had an intense sweet tooth because my family used to own a bakery, so where desserts are just always available. But I actually feel like I've had less cravings. I mean, I still, of course, crave sweet things, but that has gone down. It's just been a struggle with like bread. And like I was eating eggs every single morning. I have had a few, but so that's been a struggle. But something that I've actually even enjoyed um prior to the cleanse was I got it from my friend, and I've kind of tweaked it because this her recipe had like corn and chopped tomatoes in it. But I think those were the only two things I took out. So I had, it's just like bell peppers, whatever peppers you want, chopped, red onion, um, cilantro, I believe. I added garlic to this one too because I know garlic's good for the cleanse. What else? Oh, black beans, chickpeas. I added like cannellini beans. Um, and I'm trying to think, chili powder, some honey for sweetness, vinegar, olive oil, and I think that's it. And that's been pretty good. And I've been eating that like as kind of its own, I guess, dish, but also adding that on top of things. I mean, I love the Siete almond flour. I bought the, what was it? It's the Siete chickpea tortilla to try. I haven't tried that one yet, but I like the almond. Um, so yeah, that's with the food. But if I may, so we use a Berkey that I think is now Boro to filter our water, and also clearly filtered, and then the Jolie to filter the shower. And I've purchased now two sink filters for brushing our teeth in the bathroom. And I was hoping to put one in the kitchen sink as well to filter that, to help like ease soaking and washing produce. Um, and today nothing will fit this sink faucet. It's driving me crazy. I kind of made a makeshift one. I did a little like tape, even though I knew that wouldn't hold it long term. But today I found that, I don't know if it was because of that leaking under the sink, so I had to pull all things out, dry them off. I cannot for the life of me find a sink filter to filter the water we brush our teeth with. Um, and we live in an apartment, so I don't know if we can change the sink faucet. I would love to. I don't know if we can. So that's been a little frustrating, a little discouraging. I just, for the life of me, can't do that. And I know I put my like retainer in that sink water and soak it there, which I can work around that.
Which one do
So
you have?
so I actually I can't remember the brand of the first one I bought. But the second one I actually grabbed from Kim's. It looks like a great filter. Kim's like Amazon page, but it just will not fit this darn faucet. It really is so frustrating. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
a bathroom faucet, you said?
It's yeah, for the bathroom. And I mean, I'd love to put one in the kitchen sink too, but that's also different.
Have
Which
you tried
one?
the
I
filter
could like,
baby?
I have to say that again.
Have you tried the filter baby?
No, I don't think I have. I could try that one. Filter baby.
That's the one that I have, and it comes with so many different adjustments on there. It comes with a variety. It's supposed to work for almost
Okay.
everyone, the kit that it comes with. And then I believe the company says if for some reason yours doesn't fit, contact us and we'll send you a special one, like a
Ooh,
special
okay.
tool to be able to get yours on. So I would recommend the filter baby. That's the one I have in it. It fits my sink good. What were you gonna say, Kim?
The ones that are in my Amazon storefront, they're either for the shower or they go under the sink. There isn't one that goes on the sink
Oh,
itself. They go in the shower, so you would do it between where the pipe comes from the wall and the shower head. Or you buy the water drop, which is a 3 filter system, and you go underneath your sink. Now, if you guys do something like this and you go under your sink, you have to shut your cold water or your hot water off then, unless you get one for each of the temperature. So on all my bathrooms, all of the hot water shut off just because it doesn't matter to me. And in my kitchen, I have hot and cold, but I have filters hooked up to both lines. And if you go underneath your sink, you'll see underneath the sink that there's 2 places, and you just put those two, and then it automatically comes out your sink. I don't have any filters that go on the sink itself. I do recommend that. I like Water Drop. They've tested really good, and I live in one of the worst waters in the country, Seattle, and then New York's like it's New York and then us, like really. But I like that for my sink. And then for my shower, I have 2 filters. I do the smaller filter and then I do that longer filter. And I do that because the smaller one, that one can be changed out and it collects the most. And the longer one, if you look at some of my videos, I have two. The longer one has minerals inside of the filter itself. Because when you start doing this cleansing of the water, you're removing everything. And then your hair and your skin will be dry and break. So you have to find a good balance. If you don't want to do two, then just do the long one. I think it's like $50. And that one you can see when it starts to get yucky because it's a clear filter. I do too because in Seattle, I have to change them every 5 days. Like it's black. It's disgusting. You can watch some of my videos. People here know me because I went viral on the water in Seattle and they love their water here. Like it's obsessively weird. They think that it's the best water in the whole world and it's the worst. I've tested it and they've all tested positive for worms. So it's like you can keep drinking your worm water, whatever. But it's so gross. And so if you have nasty water like that, you should protect that longer filter by putting like a buffer at the top. So then you have two, and it is a little
Mhm.
longer. So that kind of sucks. But it honestly, and I filtered my water since I was like 17 years old. Like I've always
Mhm.
carried filter everywhere I've gone, but this one in particular seems to get out the most and it seems to give you the add back you need. So didn't mean to interrupt, but I love talking about water. So
Yeah, Kim.
Oh, thank you.
Our water game is next level. I don't know
my
anybody.
water game is, I mean, it's next level. I'm nuts. I love the water, but it's our foundation, you guys. Like it's literally the foundation. I literally was washing my produce with contaminated water with worms. I was like cleansing and then I was doing all the things except for my water was contaminated. So I was just literally recontaminating my baths, my shower. It's just recontaminating, you got to start with that as a foundation.
Yeah.
Actually, to go off of that, for washing produce, like I'm somebody who needs like step-by-step instructions, and I have the filtered water, the salt, the lime, but like logistically, I mean, should we be kind of cutting some produce and then soaking it. Like I've tried to soak the peppers and they all float to the top. So I don't know if I should get a different container or cut the produce before soaking it.
Yeah, I mean, I cut my produce before soaking it now. I used to not. I used to let it float and then I would flip it around. And if you're doing it in like two steps, like I don't know if I have a video about this. Maybe I do. But I do the soak, right? The vinegar, the lime, and the sea salt soak, and then I followed up with that ozone machine, the Therasage bubbler that's $100. And so it's bound to get clean, right? If you know you're really getting after it, it takes around a half an hour. It's really gonna get itself clean. It'll flip. But I cut all my produce now. Jeremy does a lot of our soaks now for us. And so he'll cut them in half and then he'll flip them and it won't be as much. But if you don't know about that Therasage, you guys, like hands down, $100. Kim Greer just talked about it. It's portable. It's literally this big. It makes ozone water. And if you don't know how important ozone is to our bodies because it kills bacteria, you can soak it. I talk about it for a soak of your produce and cleaning the bacteria and pesticides off your produce, but you can actually use the machine to make ozone water to put in your mouth. You can put it in your water pick because bacteria is what hurts your teeth. It's not cavities that are from eating badly. It's actually your gums creating a bacteria and acidity of your mouth. And so you can go in and put it in a water pick. Some people wash their face. Sam does colonics with the ozone water. Ozone water is so good for our bodies. And this machine for $100, it's literally self-explanatory. You can be an affiliate with them if you have an account that reaches what they want. You can be an affiliate. I don't know. I make a couple $100 a month from Therasage when I talk about it because they give a percent, right? But definitely go be an affiliate. You know, I think I've got a code. I think it's like Rogers or Rogers 10 or something. But honestly, it's probably the one of the most game changing, especially if you can't get after really getting filtered water. At least you're getting ozone water that's going to clean your produce. I mean, we should all, oh yeah, thanks, Kim. Look how easy that thing is. It's literally that big. Like it's so easy to use. You stick this hose, it's got a rock at the end of it. You stick it in the water and you let it bubble for like 10 minutes for your produce and like an hour for making water for your mouth. It's that easy. You just walk and go. Like you don't have to sit and stare at it or do anything. It is one of the best. I think I've been using them for like 2 years. I love them. The guy that owns it, Robbie, his daughter died of Lyme. So all of his products are based on these specific needs that we all have, right? So I highly suggest that. That's a game changer for modalities. And going back to the water, like you can use your filtered water. And if you don't have a way to get anything under the sink, then use the water from your shower. Like filter that water and then use that water from your shower. That's what I did for a while. That's what I do when I travel because all of our water is filtered from the shower head. I take our filter with us and then I'll either go buy some, but like, I mean, that's even questionable nowadays too, right? Or I'll just use that water and that's what I'll do throughout the time I'm there to wash my face or brush my teeth. So
I have a question.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Gianna, go ahead.
I'm out in the country. I'm in Southwest Washington, so I'm in the foothills. And for testing in the past years, we have like some of the best quality water that we have. But I never thought about parasites. Am I at risk for having the parasites in my water, even though it's coming from deep underground?
Well, I do suggest because you have good water that you should go to parasites.org and get one of their water tests. They're one of the only ones I know. I'll find out before we get off this call. I'll ask Jeremy. There's one other company that you can use and they give you even more information than parasites.org. But I recommend before even like doing any filters, because it's really tough when you have such good water to filter your water because it filters all the good stuff out, right? So I do suggest that you get your water tested. It is around $250 to get your water tested, but it's something that is worth your peace of mind. And we get our water tested a couple of times a year. It's just in a budget that I've created for mold testing our air and water testing our parasites. So it's like just protecting yourself. I would recommend it just because you can have the most clear, beautiful water and it still tests positive. Mine in Hoodsport, it's so sad because they literally, when you buy the property out there, they're like, and our water is the best in the country. It comes from the runoff of the mountain. And they're like literally selling you. That's what's so shocking about all of this. They literally sell it as part of the package when you buy this land that we bought in 2016 that poisoned us with parasites. So it's like, it can be, and it's so pretty. The water is so beautiful and it's so full of nematodes. It's like, so you just don't know. Like you can't really see the microscopic side of it. You know what I mean? So it's really your call, but I do recommend just as a health precaution that you do get your water tested at least once a year. You don't know if there's been a line break in the city and they didn't tell you. You don't know if you had a line break in well water. Like
Yeah.
anyone that came to the ER for an extended period of time, the first thing we would, if they had a bellyache, the extended period, we would ask them, so do you have a well? And they'd be like, no, why? And you immediately could like in your mind go, they don't have a parasite, which now we all know is a little bit wonky, right? But it would immediately be your checklist. So does that help you?
Yeah, it's just something I never thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 'Cause I do have really good well water, considering other people around in the same county can have, too much iron or have the, whatever, where they have to filter it for their whole house and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We lucked out where we're at, and and our well is really deep. It's like over 200 feet down,
Oh,
almost.
wow.
So, but that's just something I didn't think about.
Have you ever tested your water?
I've had it tested in the past for, like the minerals and the bad
Mhm.
stuff that, you can get. I mean, there's even places that have salt water
Mm-hmm.
from underground, so they have to filter that. And the lady told me that she hadn't seen such good water in the county. She was surprised that I mean, just a few miles down the road, they have, I can't, it's not the arsenic, but whatever
Arsenic.
is it arsenic? They
Yeah,
have,
arsenic is right. And that's really hard. You have to reverse osmosis arsenic. None of these filters will work on arsenic. You have to reverse osmosis arsenic,
yeah, and that's
which
like
means,
down the road from me, but my
yeah.
brother had iron in theirs, everything was turning red, and
Mm-hmm.
mine is like clear, smells good, the
Nice.
taste, there's no bad taste. And I mean, I bought a filter for my water to alkaline it because
Yeah.
I didn't know, so to be on the safe side. But I also got the one with put the mineral back in because I know I'm getting minerals out from my
Right.
water, and then that was killing it all. So I am doing that, but I haven't done like my shower or anything like that because I didn't think about parasites.
Mm-hmm. I personally think you should just test it and get a peace of mind. And then you have that for your well, because you are in a well. And again, everybody I've talked with that's had a well has had something wrong with them with a parasite. It's really a very common thing with a well. Most people don't think it's common with the city water, but in fact it's common with both. But the city, they don't test for nematodes. They do periodically test for parasite, which is the microscopic worm. But
Why
and
Portland, Oregon was
oh yeah.
that they have it in their water.
Yeah. Well, the state of Washington even came out and tested our water, and they're like, there's nothing here. I'm like, listen, my water went to Mexico and got tested, and it came back positive multiple times, not just one time, multiple times. I sent multiple samples around Washington.
Well, their standards are
Low
pretty.
trash. It's terrible, especially because I live right downtown. I'll walk out there. I'm like, oh, yeah, they just drank out of the drinking fountain for sure. They're all like, wormy, and it's wild. It's wild. It's wild when you start to deworm to the level that you're not sick. with any sort of issue, and you start to see people, you're like, oh yeah, they got a worm. One guy, I just wanted to be up and like hand him my kit. I told Jeremy, I'm like, I can't. Sometimes I'll look over and I can't stand it because I'm like, I just want to go out there and give them all Parafite. And he's like, oh, that would just cause a huge uproar of die-offs, Kim. Could you imagine? Can you? I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
Well, while we have you, Tammy,
Sorry.
do you want to share a couple of things that you've been eating? Some of the things that are a part of your cleanse protocol diet?
That has been a big challenge for me because I'm more of a meat eater.
Okay.
I love my fruits and veggies, you know, certain ones, but I can't do all like basically vegetarian style. I'm like starving the whole time. I'm just like, it's my husband's half Chinese, so even he said it's like eating Chinese food. It's like you're starving in a half hour. That's how I am. So I have been eating egg sometimes in the morning. Hasn't been every morning. And I have been eating some meat, but I'm trying to limit how much I eat. And since he's half Chinese, we actually eat a lot of veggies. We eat a lot of cabbage and broccoli, cauliflower, and other things, you know, the asparagus, zucchini, whatever. So I do eat that way. I don't really have a forte because I haven't really found something, I guess, yet to satisfy me. I still kind of getting cravings. And the other part I was working on is the timing. So when you mentioned you could do the 30 drops in the morning and then do the other 15 later, that has helped me. So that I've been doing. So
Good.
now I'm going to focus on the food eating part better because that scheduling to go 4 hours in between to starve myself for 4 hours to do the next set of drops was really hard on me because I'm a snacker. I don't eat big meals. So I am finding the 30 drops in the morning and then I can kind of have lunch and then that will sustain me to do the drops before dinner and then I can have dinner. So that's, but I have nothing like really special. Not yet. So
Okay. Another little snack that I love that kind of helps a little sugar craving too for me is dates with some like almond butter inside of it. And then just put some like, I sometimes I'll put like sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on it or something. Like eating dates with some sort of a nut butter is always a fun. When I'm not cleansing, I eat them with chocolate, the dates, the nut butter, and the chocolate. Delicious. But if you the anytime I'm craving sugar or something, the dates really do the job for me. With a little snack throughout the day.
yeah, I
But
eat dates. I'll put my butter on mine. I have almond butter. I'll try that.
yeah, it's yummy and it's filling. The nut butter is really filling. So thank you for sharing, Tammy. We appreciate you. I would
Thanks.
love to hear from one of our alumni now that this is her second round. Heather, this is your second round of cleansing with Rogers Hood and being in the bug out program. So I remember last time, we had the call like this where we're sharing new things. Second time around, how are you doing? What are you eating now? What's going on?
Oh, I'm so glad I'm doing this the second time around and just realizing that this is like going to be my life. And I'm just so grateful for it to know. And the second time around, it's like different things every time. So, second time around, I have had quite a few cravings. First 4 days, I was like, here we go again, all the cravings for all the things, corn specifically. But things that I've been eating, I find that have really been helping. I am a big meat eater, and I have a lot of grass-fed bison, grass-fed beef, lamb. I do chicken, but I do find I am sensitive to corn and soy, and it's really hard to find like perfectly pasture raised chicken, that sort of stuff. But when I do, I have chicken thighs, and I incorporate a lot of cucumber. I've been wanting a lot of cucumber lately, and tons of cilantro in every meal. A lot of kimchi and sauerkraut. Um, I have been doing quite a few eggs, and I love eggs, but I did want to cut them out for this cleanse just because it did suggest cutting them out. And I was going to do less meat, but I just find that my body is, it's just been so good for the healing for my body to have meat throughout anything, injuries and all the things. I think I will test like my next Purify cleanse. I think I will test less meat, but intuitively my body's really asking for it now. So doing that. In the morning, I'm starting off with fresh ginger and a full fresh lemon in a liter of water. And I find that has just been like a huge game changer. And incorporating the celery juice. Pretty much like I've been keeping it really simple, like a lot of single ingredient foods. And I've cut out coffee and it's been hell. It's been really hard to cut out coffee, and definitely headaches and stuff. So it was like a rude awakening of how addicted to coffee I am. And my body, it's just like, yeah, I feel like it's like you need to not drink this for a while. It was like my last vice. That's pretty much it. I have had a couple um cravings that I've given into those damn Sieta chips, the natural flavor. Yeah, I just like couldn't stop eating those and
I love those.
feeling guilty. And then I'm like, okay, it's done. just just accept it and get back onto it. But I've had a lot of fresh fruit too. Wild blueberries, a ton of wild blueberries. Um, my body's been craving apples, so I've been doing that. Just keeping it really simple, using coconut oil for a lot of my stuff. And yeah, I think yeah, I've been keeping it pretty simple. I think that's about it. Well, chia seeds, hemp seeds. Yeah.
I love what you said, Heather. You said my body's been asking for this. That
Yeah.
statement is so powerful because there's it just like I always say, even just like pregnant women, like your cravings come from a need that your body has, you know? So
Yeah.
listen to those nudges of if you have been cutting out a certain something, but your body is genuinely saying, and I think this is where discernment comes in, right? Because some
Yeah.
of the cravings could be the parasites asking for something, but there's a discernment between my body genuinely needs this particular nutrient opposed to my taste buds want to experience this particular thing. Or
Totally.
yeah, so definitely exercising discernment when you are having those cravings because your body is going through a very specific process and if you are craving something that you know will be beneficial for you like the meat on a regular basis, then trust that and listen to that and don't neglect your body of what it's asking for. As long
Yeah. And
as long as you
yeah.
know, this is you guys taking your mind back. This is you taking
Yeah.
back, taking your body back and knowing when it's really a need of the body or a need of the bug.
Yeah. It's so true. And yeah, I've been on every kind of eating plan you can think of throughout the years. Like I related so much to Kim talking about growing up in a Weight Watchers family. Like right here, I'm like the same age as you, and my whole family Weight Watchers, all the weird disordered eating, low fat,
Totally.
no fat, all the weirdo stuff, and it still follows us. They're all still like on that train, and I'm like, hello, this is not. That
Yeah.
was the 80s and 90s. But so yeah, I think experimenting because everyone's different, right? In some phases, like I went through a whole phase of just juicing and vegan for a couple years, and then all of a sudden, boom, my body's like, meat, I need meat, and that is it. And then I was back on it. And so I think I will experiment with each cleanse that I do. The next one I'm gonna follow the cookbook, I think strictly because I've done master cleanse, I've done other cleanses, and to see how my body feels then. But I kind of kicked this cleanse off during my menstrual cycle, and my body was like, yeah, you need a lot of red meat. So
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Heather.
thank you.
We're so happy to have you back for round two.
Thanks.
Yes. Kim always recommends if you're barely doing your very first Parafy kit, doing another round of Parafy before you move on to any of the other kits like the mold kit.
That's next. Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Sarah Zach. Would you be open to sharing with us, Sarah?
Sure. So I also have been eating meat. I can't get through the day without that like packed protein. But for breakfasts, I have two go-tos that I eat all the time, but are actually, I think, safe on the cleanse. I'll do like a bowl of fresh berries with some like cashews and slivered almonds, unsweetened coconut, and a little bit of full fat coconut milk, and like eat it like cereal. That's really good, and you get the protein from the nuts, and it's kind of sweet. And my other one is like banana, sliced up banana with some almond butter, again, a little bit of that unsweetened coconut, and some cinnamon. I love like good cinnamon. I'll put it on anything. It's so good. But those have been my go-to breakfasts. Lunch and dinner is more just like I'm trying to stick to chicken. I have had a little bit of red meat, but like chicken and vegetables. And at night when I get like a sweet craving, I've been doing again berries with whipped coconut cream. That's what's been getting me through.
The berries are so good for your body throughout this process too, so that's a good one. How often have you been eating meat, Sarah, every day?
Um, yeah, yeah, chicken every day. I think I had one day that I had grass-fed, grass-finished steak, but mostly chicken and pretty much every day. I just can't not do meat.
Yeah. That's a big common theme in here, which I'm really glad that Kim's going to be coming out with the meat incorporated cookbook towards the end of the year, because clearly that's everybody's feeling really called to stay committed to animal proteins throughout the process. So awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Let's do one more before we close out. Brandy, I would love to hear from you. Oh, look at her. Look at her. Oh, she's got her planner. Let's get Brandy unmuted. Let's see. There should be a request to unmute you, Brandy, if you see it. Oh no. Uh-oh, I don't know if we'll be able to get her on. If not, it's okay. It's all right. Do you see your mic on there anywhere? On your screen? No? Ah, it's all right, Brandy. Next time. If we can't figure it out, it's totally okay. If there's anybody who's not on camera but who is here with us who would love to share, oh, Truvani, yes, Kim, Truvani is what I mean, not Truvia, Truvani, yes. If there's anybody else here who's in the chat and active right now, and you guys would love to hop on and share, you don't have to put your camera on if you can't right now. But if there is anybody, drop a 1 in the chat if you're here with us and you do want to share, but you're just not on camera right now. See if we have any. Going once. Shut up, Robin. Okay. All right. We'd love to hear from you, Robin. Just send a unmute. There we go. Hi, Robin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I really don't want to show myself because I'm in a really bad way.
Oh, that's okay. We're just happy that you're here with us.
Well, I'm having a tough time because I can't get on your signal and I feel like I'm missing a lot. They say you can get it on your computer, but you got to load it on a phone, which was my first problem is, I don't have a phone to load those things on.
Okay.
And so you can't use Signal unless you put it on a phone first. So I wish you had another way to go about. I mean, I paid to have community, but I feel like
Right.
I'm being left out. But what I guess I'd like to just ask is, and I'll preface this by saying, I mean, I already knew I had some brain issues, and that's why I decided to do the cleanse because I haven't been able to figure out what to help myself with, and I thought, well, maybe it's parasites, but I haven't been able to leave the house. I've barely been able to move. I don't know if it's just, progression of my, beginning symptoms or if this is, creating more havoc for my brain.
While
But
you've been on the cleanse, you mean?
yeah, I don't know if that is, like adding to the problem. I really haven't had a lot of problems, taking the tinctures or, going to the bathroom or anything like that. It's just that, and I really want to do this because I was hoping that, maybe there just are bugs in my brains, but um today I'm worried I'm not going to make it because I'm just so, I mean, my mental health is really out the window, so to speak. Um, so excuse me if I'm bringing up more than, is called for, but
No, it's okay. This is a part of the process, you know. Obviously, anybody who commits to an experience like this, like if you've never done it before, you're in exploration mode. Like you said, you know, I was really hoping that this would support this. And sometimes the beginning part is really challenging. The body is getting used to being in such a deep detox process. So it's not always going to be comfortable, obviously, but everybody's situation is different depending on just what your personal circumstances are. Kim, do you have anything to share on that?
Well, as I always say, if you need to take a break for 3 to 5 days to let your body kind of calm down and to give it a little bit of a break because that they've hijacked our nervous system. And so it's not uncommon that they're like, don't keep killing me phase. So you need to kind of pivot over to support phase. So if you have to take a break, take a break. Like, you have to listen to your body. As far as like the anxiety of it all, this is all so very common, Robin. This is not something that we all haven't experienced. You know, it just is, it's unfortunate that you're not able to get on to Signal, but to be honest, you can go on to Facebook too. We're all on Facebook as well. So if you have Facebook and you need to have that community, I definitely think you should take Red Artist. It just popped up. And if you have to take the Red Artist twice a day, you can continue to take Red Artist twice a day, even when you pause the cleanse. I really think that calming your nervous system is what you need to do because your anxiety is through the roof and you need to calm it, and that real Red Artist is really going to help you. And I know you got Red Artist with your kid,
yeah.
so start there. Give yourself grace, man. Like, seriously, like, this is a process. Your body's never had these herbs before. Your body's never gone through this before. And it's all a slow chip away at the process. This isn't something that if you can only do it once a day, just only do it once a day then. Listen to what your body's telling you, which isn't to completely come to a screeching halt, but it is to take a step back and be like, all right, this was a little much for me. And now I need to increase my Red Artist to twice a day to get my nervous system controlled and then take a break. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay,
take a deep
so
breath.
yeah,
You're
because
going,
today I'm really feeling a lot of anxiety, which,
yeah.
in my chest, I mean, physically. So you're saying to just take the Red Artist to
Yeah,
a couple of
for a
times
few
a
days.
day and
Yep.
kind of back off the others for a couple of
Yes.
days?
Yes.
And then maybe when I start up again, just try it twice a day
Sure.
instead of
Exactly.
3 times and,
Yes.
okay.
This is
Well,
normal. This is all normal. It's
Well,
all normal.
it's just really hard because I
I know.
already had a brain issue and the emotions are running really high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And it's not your emotions though. Like if you're having some chest pain from it, that could be pinworm, threadworm. They get into our chest cavity. There is there's parasite option problems that you could be having right now. So take a break, take a step back, take a deep breath, take the Red Artist, take 3 days off, and then see how you feel in 3 days. Because I also had chest pain when I did my cleansing. That's how I'm so confident in what you're going through because I went through it. I just went through it and you can see a lot of it on film. You can see
And
where
you
I'm. Mhm.
you said pinworms and what could it affect?
Threadworm, pinworms can get into our cavities there in our heart
And so
and our
even
lungs.
though, not like I'm really rifling through the, BMs, but I
Hmm.
haven't really seen anything.
You might
Uh,
not.
Might not. Okay.
Nope. They can literally break up into nothing. If you go and read or go and watch my pineapple video, I will always go back to this because it's the most shook video I've ever seen. I had no idea the pineapple goes in and just destroys it to nothing. And they do. So does Parafy. It goes in and it literally obliterates them.
Oh,
You might never see anything.
okay.
Some people see things, some people don't. It just depends on infestation. Everybody's so different.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well,
Robin, I also have a question for you. Are you on a MacBook or are you on like a Windows computer?
Windows.
Okay, there's an option on signal.com. I'm going to share the website with you. There's an option on there. It's in the chat. There's an option on there that allows you to download for Windows on your computer for the Signal chat. If you go to the link that I showed you at the bottom, it'll say not on Mac. And then there's a link right below that that says Signal for Windows. And you should be able to download it onto your computer from there. So
Okay.
I just dropped that link in the chat for you, okay?
Okay. Yeah, because each time I went to Signal, it said, oh, yeah, you can use it on your computer. But if you look underneath the download, it says you have to have it loaded on a cell phone first. It's like, well, that sort of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, this one I just clicked it and
Okay.
it's already downloading on my computer right now after me even clicking that link. So it should work for yours.
Oh, okay. Well,
All
I'll
right.
try it. I thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for your vulnerability, Robin. That's what this community is all about. We know the challenges that come with this experience, and we just want to make sure that you feel supported, that you feel safe, that you feel like you have all the resources and information that you need. So, like we've been saying throughout this entire process, definitely listen to your body. Definitely take Kim's suggestions with the Red Artist. A lot of people in the chat said that they've been using Red Artist throughout their process, and it's been a game changer for them. So hopefully that helps for you.
I have a question on Red Artist. I noticed when I started taking it in the evening before bed, I guess, in the evening, later in the day, I wasn't sleeping well. Does it give you energy? Because I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning ready to go.
yeah, it
Um,
can.
okay, so I cut it
can.
off. I am only
So do
doing
two
the
droppers in the
morning.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only doing the one in the morning, so I should do two then.
You
Okay.
can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty good on energy. I don't eat coffee. I don't.
Good.
I'm tapped. Like I'm good. So that's one thing I've noticed. Also, question: does the cleanse make you more hungry? I've noticed I've gotten more hungry.
Also happens to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can for a couple reasons. One, it can because you're exerting energy to remove toxins from your body, but it also
Mm-hmm.
helps reset your metabolism. And a lot of us that have chronic illness, mold, parasites, and Lyme can have
Mhm.
metabolic disorder where you never feel hungry. And so
Mhm.
there's kind of a shift. Wormwood can suppress the mold spores that could be in your body, making you feel more hungry. They can make you feel more hungry, and your body is exerting more energy in order to remove toxins and to boost your healing.
I've definitely felt more also perspiration, like very smelly perspiration at the end of the day. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God, I swear I shower. But it's like really bad at the end of the day. So yeah, more than usual. That
that's
was
normal.
interesting. Yeah, okay.
You're pushing bacteria out, and your skin is your biggest organ, and it's coming out. That's why we use a binder to try and keep them from coming out of our skin and bind them and have them removed from the poop. So
Mhm.
that is, it's all normal. All of it's
And
normal. I know the smelly really is tough. It's like showering a few times a day, but it's
yeah,
just me, you're getting in there. So try and use saunas, try and sweat it out in like a hot setting. Even cold plunge or using a cold shower will move your lymphatic system faster as well.
okay.
So
And also the first week I noticed I was peeing a lot, but now this week is more normal. That was
thank you.
also interesting.
Yep. Isn't it? The body's so crazy.
Mhm. Mhm. All right, you guys, we've gone a little bit over time, but we're just grateful that we can show up for you in whichever way. Thank you for bringing your questions. Don't hesitate to ask whatever questions come up for you in the future. Robin, I hope you get access to the chat. Everybody else, like I said in the beginning, you guys have been rocking it in the chat. There's been so much conversations going on in there. Also, with that said, since a lot of you are in communications with each other in the chat, if there ever is a time where somebody has a very specific question for one of us, please tag us in that message, because sometimes in the midst of all of the just a community conversation that's going on, some of the questions get a little lost for us in there. So if you have a specific question for Kim and I or anybody on the Rogers Hood team, just make sure that you tag us, and we'll always do our best to get to those immediately. As always, utilize your planners, your symptom trackers. Make sure that you're connecting with yourself and writing your goals. Sometimes this process you can get so worked up into the way of life that you kind of forget what the whole point of this is building a deeper relationship with your body, which also deepens the relationship that you have with yourself overall. So we will see you guys next week. The replay will be available tomorrow. Thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate you all. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Don't forget to utilize all of your tools to detox your body, the sauna, the sweating, the sunshine, drinking plenty of water, using your fulvic soaks. Your fulvic soak is one of your greatest allies throughout this process, so make sure that you take advantage of that incredible, incredible product. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.